What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Resident Evil because Capcom just accidentally leaked some screenshots for the next game, and it's crazy because it looks like it's going to be entirely multiplayer. Now I want to go over the leaked screenshots, but first let me just say, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because there is a chance that this is going to get taken down. But I want to go into these because I actually find each of them to be very, very delicious. Now the thing is, let me just show you for a second. I don't want to tease you, but before we get into this, Resident Evil has actually experimented with multiplayer in the past. They've done things like co-op in Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries mode, but there's also a game that they did that was entirely co-op and online that had you trying to explore a bunch of different dungeons and mansions with other survivors called Resident Evil Outbreak. And honestly, I love that game, and over the course of the last like 2 or 3 years, there's been a bunch of rumors that they've been trying to reboot that, either as a remaster or a remake. Now let me look at these screenshots because I don't think that this is a Resident Evil remake style scenario. So in the first one, we can see a bunch of people all back to back. This gentleman's got a red jacket on, and it does look like his thing says Raccoon. If you look on his jacket itself, it looks like he is actually part of like the high school football team for Raccoon City. So already, I think it's pretty easy to assume that this is going to take place alongside Resident Evil 2 and 3. But I still don't think that this is going to be part of the Resident Evil 3 remake. I think that that's going to be a beat-for-beat retread of the original awesome game with Jill Valentine. But let me move on to the next one here. So here's where I feel like we're starting to get a little bit more details, which is, as you can see by the metallic-y background, this to me looks a lot like the underground and the secret labs of Raccoon City. This was actually a big part of the 2 online games they made, Outbreak and Outbreak File 2, because basically a huge part of the mystery of Resident Evil is how this all happened in the first place. How was Umbrella even able to craft such a deadly, terrible virus and then, well, purposely unleash it on the citizens? I think that if this game is going to be fully co-op, which it appears to be, I think it's pretty clear that different characters are going to have different skills, and the maps will probably be at least slightly randomized. That's the way the other games did it that were online, and it makes it where it's sort of like Left 4 Dead, where basically every time you play Left 4 Dead, there's like 20 different ways that the map can be laid out. You're always walking through the same hallways, but how you open a door or how you summon an elevator is always ever so slightly tweaked that way you're extra panicked. Okay, so let me go on to the third screenshot here. This is the wide shot, and honestly, I think this gives us a good representation of how much this is going to be combat focused. One of the problems I had with Resident Evil Outbreak is that you use a lot of melee weapons. You get like baseball bats and knives and stuff, and you're trying to fight off sometimes 10 or 20 zombies. It can become frustrating simply because you are so ill-equipped. The way it tried to make up for that is by giving different players different abilities so they could have bigger bag space or more bullets and stuff like that. When I glance at this screenshot, it actually brings to mind definitely more of a Left 4 Dead vibe, or now more recently World War Z, which to me is a massive, massive benefit. So we have these players in the back, but you can see each person has their own individual weapon. This is not going to be a slow thing. I definitely think that this is probably going to be called Left 4 Resident Evil. Now, obviously I'm joking there, but I still think that this is going to be very Left 4 Dead-like. Alright. Now the final screenshot is pretty tame, which is a close-up of this character here. We still don't know any of these people's names or anything, but you can see that they're definitely in a dilapidated building. I think that this is probably going to be part of Umbrella headquarters. Everybody in these screenshots is exceptionally young, so maybe this is just an opening part of the game that takes place in a high school and sort of introduces them, but we do know for a fact that currently this is called Project Resistance. Now, we don't know what that means exactly, but it seems like it's sort of hinting towards the idea of them possibly resisting against Umbrella themselves, about being that small team of young people who's decided that instead of just sitting here and waiting for the infection to spread, they're going to stop Umbrella themselves. Each of these is very, very neat, and it's funny because it seems like these were completely leaked by accident, which is that this morning they have officially announced that they're going to do a grand reveal for this at Tokyo Game Show on September 9th, but they went ahead and put up a placeholder website to try and tease people, and these are actually embedded thumbnails from an upcoming YouTube video. Oopsie. So basically, if you don't actually post a photoshopped thumbnail, it will auto-generate some, and people manage to download them. That's pretty much a mistake that anybody could make, but it's still funny to think of this billion-dollar corporation or a super mega million corporation like Capcom making such an innocent mistake. Honestly though, I'm very glad to see it. Alright, I want to cut this together and throw it up, and then I am going to be finishing up Top 10 Thursday. Today we're going to be actually doing Top 10 Hated Boss Battles, and I got some in there that you're definitely going to despise. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Ooh, man, what an exciting freaking morning. Oh yeah, and Yakuza 7 is going to be a JRPG. What? Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.